I guess we don't even need light, do we? It's still fucking bright. You guys see me and shit? You got 3 people in here. Hey, James, I appreciate you the company. I get a little lonely being a madman in a cockpit of a car, yelling into a phone. Yo, 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 yo! Texas proud! What's up? What's up, guys? What's up? Been there myself. James says he's been there himself. Have you really? You got a little tobacco in the teeth. I don't recommend chewing tobacco, by the way, for any, especially children. Yeah, no problem. No problem. I'm a little bit, if you haven't noticed, like, I'm a little bit burnt today. But I put like Freeflow, right? So that we can kind of like bounce around some topics and just get wild with it, right? This is welcome to Dugan's Car Show. Welcome to Dugan's Healing Show. That's going to come up here in a little bit when we turn on the red light. And it's sponsored. I'm still waiting on my sponsorship offer from Grizzly. I don't have it yet. I don't have the check. I haven't got the check in the mail yet. But we're hopeful, right? Not really. We're not hopeful. The one next to OP Hotel Ramadi. What's up, dude? Somebody's talking about OP Hotel. What? Is there an old comment here that's going to refer to what you're talking about? OP Hotel. These questions are silly. I didn't even get that dip. I tried to get it on my tooth. I couldn't even get it. Apparently, I'm just going to do this entire stream with a fucking... Yeah, OP Hotel. OP Hotel was crazy. You know what was really crazy was OP Eagle's Nest. Are you familiar with OP Eagle's Nest? Yeah, third ID. So when were you? Oh, in 05, yeah. So you first rotation, right? In 05? And then they came back. Yeah, you did a 13-month. I was like, 05 was like, weren't they just fucking going buck wild over there? I mean, 06 was fucking crazy too, but I'm sure it's a little bit different. 06 we were like dealing with all the people that didn't get killed in 05, that were like smart enough to not die. I was at 12 Bravo, like a combat engineer. You saw fucking Chechens in Ramadi? Are you fucking shitting me? Hey, I love you too. Hang on. I gotta talk about this. I don't even know how to say your name. It sounds like an exotic dish that I'd order in an Italian restaurant. I just don't want to offend you by like fucking pronouncing your name wrong and shit. They were all over Ambar. There were Chechens. I heard stories about it. I never saw any. I don't know. Maybe I just wouldn't even been able to tell the difference. I don't know. A little choppy. Okay, sorry. Here, let me turn my phone. Maybe I'll get my receiver close to the Wi-Fi. Healing room. Welcome to the healing room. Oh! Came through Syria and Jordan. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, I heard all kinds of stories. I never saw anything. Like everybody that I always fought, I fought. It's never like even fighting. It's just a bunch of dickheads just like popping shots at each other. Most of the time I would get like shot at while I was, somebody be like taking a dump at a porta john, and some asshole snuck over and just like you know, fucking lobbing rounds at you from like way far away. I mean, or shooting you while you drive by. Like you'd fucking take bullets while you're like driving around, and you'd like, you know what I mean? Like it would just be like you're not gonna stop. It's like you took like 2 rounds or whatever, and then maybe like the first time that happens, like you'll like stop, dismount, and then like after a while you're like, okay, well, you know, we got like, you know, shit to do. So did anybody die? No, okay. Yeah, I'm sure that Syrian like picked up. Syrian fighters probably picked up a lot towards the end. What is poppin'? And welcome. Yeah, so the Carnagon lowers, we did 300 of those, and that was it. And it was like limited edition. Like, I love how, and people would, I saw, because I think I was on like Facebook when I released these things, right? Because we were like still doing like the traditional model. So we released them, and then we were like, yeah, 300, like limited edition. And then people were like commenting, they were like, don't worry, guys, it's not really gonna be 300. And then like, I might have done more if I wouldn't have read that comment. Like as soon as I read that comment, I was like, I know I can only do 300, and that's fucking it. And if people that get them, will enjoy them. Yeah, build a kick-ass gun. That was a fun video. That was cool. Those guys are great. Awesome dudes. Okay. So, yeah, I wanted to talk to Precone. We're looking at you with an electronic. Oh, yeah. So John says ROE was if they were looking at you with electronic device or binos, it was game over. Yeah. So the fucking like it, so here's the crazy thing, right? It's like, how do I even put it? It's almost surreal, like ROE changing shit in theater because of how different it would change. Like I heard about guys at like towards the end of Iraq where it was just like almost like a training exercise. You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't really. But then like I don't know. I'm assuming that 05 in Ramadi was worse than or just more like, you know, less polished than 06. And 06 was like, I mean, you would see fucking like, I mean, it was like you could shoot off a fucking M1 tank into a house, and it was like nobody gave a fuck. It didn't even fucking matter. There was guys in 1.9 that got killed by a fucking M1 shooting into a house because they just saw a barrel, and they're just like, oh, kill whoever that is. And they fucking shot a fucking 120 in there and fucking killed somebody, or killed a 1.9 guy. And then you would see like John was talking about OP Hotel, which is like a tall, large, like a very permanent OP, you know, that was fortified from building or militarized from like an Iraqi building. And then it was like present all the time, and it would get like crazy fucking V-bits going off on it. You know what I mean? Like dump trucks filled with fucking explosives would just try to drive up to the motherfucker and fucking suicide vest or, you know, V-bit detonate. And then fucking, it would just rock everybody's socks. Like you would fucking, I know, it was so crazy. And then there would be like, so there's like OP Eagle's Nest, which is down by, what the fuck was that? Was that down by like the stadium? Well, there's this like little OP called OP Eagle's Nest, and they would get, I think the guys, I never got put in OP Eagle's Nest. I would just drive by on mission and shit, or like have to go there to pick something up or drop somebody off or something. I never actually had to do like a fucking road, you know, like a guard duty shift at fucking OP Eagles. But those motherfuckers, like I would see from the other OPs, like I would be on the OP, and OP Eagles Nest would fucking have it rough, man. Like I'm talking like they would have shit where there were times where there were out of town units that weren't from there that would drive through, and they wouldn't even have the fucking like whoever was fucking whatever fucking units these were wouldn't even have like a fucking comms list of like, you know, the whoever's running the battle space. They wouldn't even have like comms, so they couldn't even talk to anybody. So they're just like driving fucking through Iraq, you know, apparently with a pair of fucking like 3D glasses on or something like that, because then they would start shooting at fucking OP Eagle's Nest and they wouldn't stop, and so they'd just be like getting hit with 25 mics. So there's just like guys like literally like you would be like at the other OPs, and you would, you know, you can see it at night. You know, it's just like fucking 25 mic. So it'd be like, and you see the sky like flashing up, and you'd be like up, and you see like some fucking mic bouncing around and shit, like bouncing around looking like fucking paintballs. And and then like you just hear on like you hear on the fucking net, it'd be like the fucking OP Eagles guys being like you could tell when they're talking to you that they're like pressed into the corner. You know what I mean? Like they're like pressed down. They're like, Roger, we're gonna get somebody fucking help us. We need an angel. Maybe you get an angel on the net and fucking help us. You know? It was fucking fuck, man. OP Eagles nest, poor bastards. I like this. I like talking to people in Romani. This is fun. Yeah, and then so for ROE, like John's still talking about ROE. Yeah. So if you're not familiar with this, there's this thing, it's called a death blossom, where like if you were, especially in the beginning of the war, like before people figured out like, you know, wow, we're like, I mean, like we even gave a shit, but like, you know, they're just killing a lot of people. They have a death blossom. So if you took like rounds and stuff, then it would just be like pretty much like tracers out of the vehicle in all directions, and that's why I call it death blossom, because it looks like, because if you're looking at like if you had like a fucking, not like a brand new unit that wasn't, you know, like a green unit, but if you had something that was like working in there all the time and just fucking had to deal with this shit all the time, then they didn't give a fuck. So they'd be like driving down Route Michigan, and then it'd be like, and then you could like see off in the like looking down the highway, you would just see like fucking tracers shooting out all over the fucking place. You know, like a fucking fire hose. Like it'd just be like, you know, or not like, it'd be like a 240, but you know, everybody would be shooting and shit. And then you would have shit like, and this isn't like, when I say this, I'm not digging on Marines. Like Marines were fucking hardcore. You know what I mean? You have a lot of Marines units, right? Like in Fallujah, Marine units and shit. And they would come through there, and they would be like, I was up on a 240 one time driving down, like, I don't even think it was Route Michigan. I think it was like off street from Route Michigan. So they're like in my AO, driving around, like some fucking unit I'd never seen. And then they were like, they wanted me to turn my gun. So like, I'm like, you know, like you stagger, right? So you got like one gun that way, one gun that way, one gun that way, you know? And then we're like all in a fucking echelon, we're like all in echelon over so they can get by. And then as they drive by, one of these Marines like looks at me like I give a fuck. And it's like, turn your gun! Like, turn your gun! And I was just like, what if you die? Like, what if you just die right now and you shoot the person behind you? Like, I'm not turning my fucking gun, you fucking idiot. Like, it was just like they were in Candyland. They didn't even know. It's like, obviously you're not fucking from here. So I'm gonna turn your guns. Yeah, I'm actually Polaris 589 asks, are you the ATF guy? Yeah, I'm the director of the ATF. I guess not. But Marines would be fucking hardcore. I mean, there's so much crazy shit. It was so crazy. I picked up some guy. I'm not even gonna speculate who the fucking guy is. We always have like pickups and drop offs, you know, like where it would just be, because I was at COP. I was on the COP, and so like we would be close to where people would fly. There's a helipad on the COP, but it's really small. Like the COP is like fucking like 200 meters wide. You know what I mean? And there's like Iraqis, like Iraqi nationals within like, I don't know, 100 yards of the perimeter. You know what I mean? Just like walking around. So it's like, you know, we would have to go like drop off people and shit. If like you were the only ones there, if like a unit was like on rest or something, you'd go like, you know, they'd be like, hey, go fucking drop this guy off. We would drop off guys where, like, I dropped off a guy one time that had like a fucking, I don't even remember because I wasn't into AKs as much back then, but he had at least, I mean, he had like a short barrel AK with like an EOTech on it, and then he was like wearing like, it was kind of like, I don't think it was a SEAL, but it was just crazy. I mean, he looked like fucking Rambo or something. We just like drop him off alone, like nobody else. Drop him off in the middle of fucking city. And then there was another guy. There was a guy. A time a guy came in. he must have been like a Stadia or something like that. But he came in with like, he had like a button-down shirt and like a SOCOM M4, like a nice SOCOM package. But he had like he looked like he looked like he walked, he looked like, you know, the guy from Office Space that has the stapler that's like locked in the basement? He looked like that, but with like he didn't have glasses, but like he looked like that guy, but with a fucking helmet and a fucking SOCOM M4. And we went and dropped him off somewhere. Who knows what he was doing? Yeah. No, yeah. John says if you got caught alone, you're gonna get your head chopped off. Yeah, fuck yeah, you would. If you're lucky. Yeah, but I shit you not, like, I went on a 3 car or a 3 Vic, like, mission where it was like 3 Vics, and we went and, like, just dropped the guy off with nobody else. I mean, I presume that he knew what he was fucking doing because he, like, didn't hesitate or anything. He was just like, yeah, this is, like, you know, this is where my basement is. Like, okay, see you guys, you know? Like, just got out and just walked off. And there's no talking or anything. I don't even know who the fuck it was. No, he didn't say shit. They were just like, go drop this fucking guy off. And then we're all like, you know, like, we don't want to go on missions, right? Like, you get that, like, all gung ho. But then after some shit happens, like we had our first guy got shot by a sniper in the fucking, like, through the fucking pelvis, like through his dick basically, and fucking like TKO, like taken out. Like, I mean, he didn't die, he lived, as far as I know. I mean, as far as I know, he's still alive. But like, he's never gonna recover. You know what I mean? So that was like week 1. You know what I mean? So it's like after you get, you know, and then you see the kind of bullshit that goes on. It's wasteful of human life in both Iraqi and America. And then so like after you get used to it for a while, or you never get used to it, but once you kind of figure out the game, you're like, oh fuck, like this isn't even, like, nothing good can possibly come out of this. Then it's like you just quit. Like you just, like, it becomes like this game where it's like your unit almost doesn't want to. I mean, you want to be professional, right? Like, you're there to do a job, you're going to do the job. But you know that, like, you know, like, you don't get to choose how the fucking shit works out. You don't get to choose the mission, or like if it's retarded or not. You don't get to choose if it's based off of something where, like, all of your intelligence is compromised, you know? Like, you don't get to choose any of this shit. So it's like you're just fucking out there, dick swinging in the wind, and they send you out there, and then if you die, like, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody at home knows what even the name of the city is. Nobody cares. The fucking army doesn't care, you know? It's just ridiculous. Yeah, I know, everybody did it, man. Indiscriminate fire, everybody did it. Yeah. I shot a fucking guy and his son in a car because they ran a OP. You know what I mean? Like, accidentally. So don't worry about it. I mean, you should worry about it, right? I don't mean like that. I just mean, you get what I'm saying. Like, it's fucking, I mean, it comes with the fucking, that's why war is bad, right? Like, that's why like, you shouldn't have unnecessary war, because you can't, like, that shit just is just gonna happen. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just fucking crazy, right? There was this time in Roddy when we were doing the walls and shit. There was this time, it drives me crazy too, because I don't know what happened. Like, I can only, it's like a fucking, like a mystery novel, right? Like, I was like on a 240. It was a fucking long ass mission. Like, we're talking like days straight. Like, and you know, I'm on a 240 and I got like a fucking at night, and then it's like the morning's coming out, and there was like a guy, like, it's not like a quiet, you know, like, you gotta understand this. It's not, for anybody that hasn't been there. It's not just like if there was just like a military operation going on near like a parade or something on your street. It's not like that. Like, there's like fucking dead bodies all over the place, and fucking people blown in half and shit, you know, and there's like, it's not like safe to be outside, and there's just like a little kid like standing on a wall being held up by hands, right? And then the guy that's holding him like pops his head out, and he's like smiling at the fucking convoy, like, ah, you know, this is like very, I don't even, like, what does that even mean? I don't even know. but like nobody in the right mind. Like I don't even want to be outside. I don't even want to go home. You know, like I don't want to be there. And this guy's just like staying outside with like a little kid in flip flops, like sticking him over the wall. So then we call it up. Well, what does it turn into? Like it's an observer, right? I'm on a 240. Like I'm not gonna go over there and look. Look at what happened. Look at all the like think about all the missions that we went on where you would work with the Iraqi militia and shit, and like they would tell you about how, you know, like everything that we did, we would do because we thought it was gonna end up good. You know what I mean? Like they would be like, yeah, this is gonna help the Iraqis get back everything. Like, everything's gonna be good. And it was like, not only were the people that we were working with pretty much just like murdering their own people for us, but then when we left, they just fucking paid them all to become ISIS. You know what I mean? Like, and then destabilized, and they just fucking gave the city away. You know what I mean? So all those people, all the people that could have fucking been, you know, like I don't even mean this as like this is what they should do, like materialism, but I'm just saying, like in the societal standard, this could have been anything. Like they could have been fucking football players. They could have fucking lived it up, and then they gave, you know, like they gave it up for the country. The country doesn't even fucking know what the name of the fucking city is. You know what I mean? And those guys and the dudes that died over there in fucking Ramadi and shit, it's not fucking glorious. Like, it's fucking sucks. It's fucking horribly, like, not like, you know, I mean, I think it's heroic in a way because it's so hardcore and grisly, but it's not heroic in the way that like people think about war. You know what I mean? It's like heroic and like, it's like heroic in the way that like they're a fucking testament to the fucking depth of like human, you know, capability of like, you know, suffering and shit, you know? And Iraqis too, you know? Like, I mean, it's not like all, you know, like we're fucking there. I'll tell you what, if there's a fucking unit out here, like we were in, you know, like, yeah. Exactly. John said the only thing I got from Ramadi was how malleable, no matter how hard you are, there's like power is not contained in physicality. Yeah, there's no glory. There's no glory. I mean, it's like this, right? Like the only time that you would see like glory or righteousness in war is if it's like, you know, you don't have any choice. It's what you have to do. So like if there's glory, it's to the fucking Iraqis. It's not to us. Like, think about it like this. Every Iraqi, imagine fucking having nothing but like a FAL with like 2 magazines, and you're gonna go fucking engage a U.S. Army patrol of like, you know, fucking 20 guys with like a fucking Bradley. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucking ball. Like, you gotta have some fucking balls. Because number one, you pretty much know that you're gonna die, you know? Or you should. I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're too dumb to know that you're going to die, then it's a little easier. But like if you're... Double plus good said, ungood says I never did anything cool. Well, join the fucking club because I didn't either. All right. I don't want to get. This wasn't supposed to be like a war porn thing, so we're not doing the war porn thing. We're reflecting on fucking reality. And yeah, we're waiting to make outer heaven. Oh, sorry. I forget I gotta fucking like, I've got wireless internet, but I gotta, you know, pretty much gotta like hold the phone to the fucking hub. Oh, did you got to build a school? That's cool. That'd be fun. Yeah, I always, like, I felt bad for the fucking kids in Iraq, man. That was a fucking rough way to grow up. Yeah, we're in the healing room. That's why it's so red. Healing. What? What do you mean color? What? Because that's the fucking light. Because it's my fucking light. The fucking light is red. That's why it's red. Typically, I mean that'd be like the logical explanation, right? Yeah, I'm glowing. Yeah, yeah, okay. So they want to know why red. So like I think some people like my wife or women and shit, they'll like fucking flip on the fucking dome light driving down the highway doing like 90 miles an hour, where it's like they can't really even see out of the windshield. They just like think that they can. But like I'm not like that. So like I switch out my fucking bulbs for red because if I'm number like if I turn this bitch off, boom, my eyes adjust to the ambient conditions, the ambient light conditions quicker than if I'm using like a fucking daylight bulb, because you're cutting out all the wavelengths except for like your red wavelength. Yeah, so it if you didn't know this, let's this is cool. We'll talk about this. So the well, it doesn't even. I mean, there are specific things about different wavelengths that react with the eye differently. That have different effects on the eye. That is true. So like some are, cause different responsiveness. But the main thing is that like your like red light is in daylight, or like an incandescent bulb, or that kind of color, like your 3500 5000 or whatever Kelvin I'm talking. Like you've got red in there in the color. You also have a bunch of other colors. You have like blue and shit like that. So like you're just pouring more light, and then your eye has to adjust. Now the uh, like if you didn't know this, like you cannot see, like if you're standing outside of a house, let's say, or a building that has a light on, you can see inside, but the person can't see outside, right? Like if their lights are on, they're not gonna be able to see out the window, but you're gonna be able to see them, and that's like going from dark to light, but you can't go to dark. And so that's true for like anything. That's also true for pass-throughs. So like if there's a light over something, like a street light or something, you can't really see. Like once it goes dark again on the other side, you can't see that. Like I mean, I guess it's pretty obvious, but I don't think people don't realize that shit. They don't think about it. They just kind of, most people just kind of go like, well, I either see it or I don't, and I don't really like keep track of when or why. But that's like a constant, right? Or like if you're trying to hide, at night, a good way to do it is to put a light between you and who's trying to look for you, is what I'm saying. Why I decided not to quit? I don't really know, because I'm a madman, I guess. Because I probably should fucking quit. I mean, I decided not to quit the live streams because guys were sending me emails saying things in the way they wrote that it wasn't like the way that they were constructing their sentences. It was like the way that were, I could tell through reading emails that people were connecting to themselves, which is the entire thing that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do what people are. And so I want to awaken people to face reality and then spread it like wildfire. And it's starting to work. And so that's why I'm not quitting. Okay, this guy wants to talk about. I like the. This guy wants to know about 3D printed guns and shit. Yeah, so there's a lot of 3D printed gun stuff out there, like a lot of it. And what do you want to know about? Why am I here? Who are you? You tell me, Emerald. A Rasta? Which Rasta? You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific. I'll answer your question, but I need to understand what you mean. It is hard to get people to snap out of celebrity hypnosis. Yeah, Twitter's like a great place to find more information on 3D guns. Yeah, you can make the entire. I mean, you can basically make the entire gun out of a 3D printer. Yeah, Ivan the Troll. He's fucking. He knows what the fuck he's doing. Nylon is like the strongest, right? Like, and a lot of times you have to have a enclosure to do nylon because your ambient temperature has to be raised. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it probably is gate kept. I don't know. You can get Blender. Like, if you get Blender, it's a free. I mean, it's kind of a steep learning curve, but once you get it, you're good. And you can, if you learn that shit, like if you learn how to model, 3D model and stuff, then you can just make anything that you want. I mean, you can just fucking like invent shit and print it off. Yeah, you can cast aluminum. Yeah, you do all that shit. Yeah. So BB said, I know you said you quit ConnerCon because you felt it was a distraction of this cause, but some episodes got me thinking about the things you're talking about now. And, well, yeah, that's because when I was making them, I was thinking it too. I just don't know how to, like this shit's never really been done before, you know. So it's like I'm kind of just like, that's why we're doing like if you guys aren't picking up on it, the reason that we're doing all these streams and they're so wild all over the place is because like I'm feeling out where you guys are at, and I'm also just like expressing myself and trying to find my zone to be able to communicate with people effectively. Scott Span says, when did the switch flip for you? What do you mean, Scott? Yeah, I make music all the time. Yeah, homesteaders, we'll do. So for homesteading, we'll just do like we'll do something consolidated later. But I don't have any like idea how I'm even gonna approach that. So let's we're kind of seeing where the next step is. I think we need to get into interviews. Is what I think. I think we need to get into like streaming interviews and talk to people. Like I would like to talk to anybody. So if you guys know anybody that has an audience, like the more people that watch them, the better, right? Like I'd rather not talk to some guy that's like, his buddy sitting next to him is the only one that's watching him. But if somebody wants to talk to me, I'll talk to anybody. I don't really care who it is. It doesn't matter. And I mean, like, I'm fine with talking to I would like to talk to Jews. It's particularly like, I mean, I don't think that's gonna happen, but I would like to, and I think it'd be fine. Larry Vickers is not gonna fucking talk to me. Gun channels are not going to talk to me. I'm not talking about that. We need to break out of the gun community. We need people that are boundary pushers to like, Yeah, I would like to talk to anybody. If you know somebody that you will talk to me, fucking hook it up. You know the email, duger@tudanoda. Go talk to the local police. I talk to them every day. What do you want me to tell them? I'll talk to fucking Nick Fuentes. I don't care. That's fine. I'll talk to anybody. I'll go on fucking Alex Jones. I'll go on fucking Joe Rogan. I'll go on fucking like anybody. It doesn't matter. As long as they have, like, it'd be great if we could get somebody that has like anybody that has like a bigger audience than what is here. Which is like we're doing like about 1,000 people in a stream are like seeing it on average. Anybody that has a greater audience than 1,000, like, good to go. Let's fucking do it. You know what I mean? If it's less than 1,000, they can come here and watch. just for so Schneider says he just wanted to say that he enjoyed the live streams a ton and enjoy hearing about spiritual religious element of in all this as a self-admitted atheist. And that's really important too, because we really want like one of the biggest things. We'll talk about this for a minute, because this is a good thing to talk about. One of the biggest problems with organized religion is that, and even everything. I mean, I know that like Jews don't proselytize, the same way that as like Christianity, like missionary and shit. But because like people, like every single person is connected to creation. You know what I mean? Like whether or not, like even if they're fucking atheists, it doesn't matter. They're connected to it, and that their experience and perspective is equally as valid as anybody else. You know what I mean? It's just that people have a misunderstanding, and so we will, try to take something that we can't encompass or hold at all. Like there is no we try to take something and hold it in the hand like it's a fucking tool, like a hammer, and then like use it against somebody. And humanity is inherently wired to recognize that as a threat, and because it is, and that's the reality, right? Yeah, I don't care who we talk. I don't care if I interview Benjamin Netanyahu or go on Benjamin Netanyahu's show. I don't care if I go on fucking Adolf Hitler's show. I don't give a fuck. It would probably be good if here is like bringing truth and awareness to people without them being able to easily like shove it in a box. So if I go on some show that's like known publicly as like an anti-Semitic show, then that's not going to help, because as soon as they do it, they'll be like, oh, okay, he's just like the same as that. You know what I mean? And you get what I'm saying? But I don't care. I'll fucking I'll talk to anybody that wants to have a real talk. If they want to have a fake talk, I won't do it. Like I'm not gonna do. If they want to have a fake talk, go. We'll have fun. It'll be fun. What's up, Colin? Thanks for coming in. I'm not gonna contact anybody. I don't even have like you guys. I'm like literally like I'm like, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm like carrying a, just pretty much like dragging my belongings to like try to get from point A to point B, and then like coming home and then like time to do these streams and shit. Like I don't have any time to do that. I can barely check the emails. I can check the emails. I just can't do. I can check the emails like while I'm at work. Like if it's. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm really in the healing room now. Now it's like we got some fucking aesthetics going on. Look at that shit. It's like all fucking hazed out. How do we get that? Chopping up? I got my shit so close now. You are watching Duke and Ashley's car show. Yeah, Missouri's cheap. You can get really cheap. It's cheap land in Utah too. It's just hard to live. It is a desert, right? Like at least in Missouri. Climbing altitude. Okay. Let's think about something we can talk about. It's like a topic that we can get into here for this stream. All right, I'm in a new position. We should be getting better reception now. Is that correct? What the hell is a coomer? People always talk about coomer. I have no idea what that means. What the fuck is a coomer? Can somebody define that? Can I get a coomer definition? A porn addict? Oh, yeah. Is it really? Is a coomer a porn addict? Oh, okay. Okay, yes. Okay. Got it. Oh, a hedonist. Okay, yeah. Yeah. We're all kind of hedonists in a way, right? Like I'm like chewing tobacco all the time. That's almost like, I mean, it's practically hedonism in a way. But yeah. The pornography is really it's really a dismal situation because it's like this. It's like, how do I put this, right? Like, here's the thing, right? It all goes back to money. Like, everything goes back to money. So because of money, because of the way that money works psychologically, it causes humanity to do like extreme behavior, like completely irrational extreme behavior. And this is like one of the biggest arguments that I have against someone like Edward Bernays, or like Freudian thought of, how they view people as like cattle. It's like, I don't view people as cattle. I view people as like highly adaptive, almost in, very short periods of time. And they're so adaptive that they will respond to like environmental pressure, including like, artificial pressure that you introduce. So like, it's not that their nature is that they're irrational. It's that if you provide stimulus, it will appear to be irrational. So like in the current paradigm with money, if you pretty much like, if you read, like I've literally on like last year, I would take news articles of like homicide and stuff, like in the news, like from some website, a local news website. And I would just cross out any reference to money in the description and in the title. And then you would just get like a list of news articles, and it would be like, if you cross it out and you just put nothing on there, then the news article would be like, they would all be something to the effect of, man kills wife and man kills wife and like business partner over nothing, whereas what would it say, like money? Or it'd be like, 18-year-old man kills best friend over nothing, you know what I mean? And it's really mind-blowing when you look at it like that, because it's easy to see. Like, once you see that, you realize that is what is really going on. And like sexuality in particular, which is related to porn, and hedonism and shit, is can you imagine? I can't really imagine people getting into physical image, like self-image and vanity and lust and stuff, if there wasn't money. Because it, like a prostitute, you have to think of like a prostitute is making a value proposition in their mind, making an equation, and they're saying like all the risks that are associated with what they're choosing to do are worth less than the reward from money. And then it's like they're gonna get the money and they're just gonna buy some shit that's just like regular ass shit that you can just like, I don't know what a hooker would have in her house, but I guarantee you that if you went in there, you wouldn't be like, fucking blown away or anything with like her choice in material acquisition, right? So like you got to think that if there was no money, if there wasn't the illusion of money and having it be an idol, which basically means that it's like a step in representation of their connection to God, and it's easier to see because it's physical, and so they just place it there, and then it gets more power than it really has. So like, if you didn't have money, like of course when things are extreme, but under normal, like if we had a functioning society exactly like we do now, but then you just replace money with like the direct commodity that the person is consuming, I can't, it's difficult to imagine a scenario where it's like, yeah, I'm blowing people on the side of I-70 for like fucking grain. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make any sense, right? Double Plus Ungood says strippers have nice stuff. I don't know about that. I guess it depends on your definition of nice. I don't really like, I'm not into material. I did not hear about Duncan Lemp. I don't even know who that is. Who is that? Yeah, Abdullah. Yeah, we need to get Abdullah. If anybody's on here that's sending the email about the streams, like send up a stream, I've got Abdullah's email address. So if you could there's so many fucking emails in the inbox now, I'm having trouble getting through them. So if anybody knows, Duncan Lemp, first victim of red flag law. Did he get waxed? Is that the guy? He got shot in his sleep? When did that happen? Holy fuck. Yeah, okay. So the first red flag law I heard about, the enforcement of ERPO, I think it was in Connecticut. And it was the situation was a guy lived at a property with like a family, like a large family. And it was like a family property, like inherited property. So the original owner had died. And it was like him and his sister, and his sister basically like wanted the property, but it wasn't willed to her. And so she had like a son that would like live there at the property or whatever. And then like the son, I guess, had some kind of issue with the guy who inherited it, which was her brother. And then because they had this dispute about the property, the guy's sister called in an ERPO. And then they came there and they tried to take his gun, and he was and he wrestled with him, and they shot him and killed him. That was like the first one I heard. That was well over a year ago. No, Alan Rogers says, have you noticed how many people are getting your streams in their recommended videos that have no idea who you are or what this is about? No, I haven't noticed that. What do you think about that? Can you speak on that? Yeah, Abdullah says red flag laws were used in the early 1900s Russia when communism was being established. That's exactly correct. Yeah. Yeah, and he says they literally report neighbors for having more chickens than them. This is totally fucking spot on. Yeah, so one of the reasons we went over before, the historical mechanics of the general chain of events of like a takeover, like a coup, like a long haul coup, which is what we're having. Russia's was a little more compressed, because they could really get away with a lot of stuff. But we're gonna see all the same things. So that's why we had, we discussed socialization, right, and the differences between now and then in Russia, the socialization. But you're just gonna see all the same things happen again. Including the parallel between the red flag laws in Russia and these ones. Yeah, red flag law is just about setting up a precedent to get the foot in the door on an excuse to be able to take guns. Once it's normalized, if they can get normalization, then it's fucking over. If your state tolerates red flag laws, it's fucking over. It's just a matter of time. You know what I mean? It's done. You cannot tolerate red flag ERPO laws being enforced without consequence, or else you're just gonna lose it all. I mean, that's just the way it is. And that is not me telling you what you should go do. I'm just saying that that's just a fucking mechanical reality of, you know, the process. That's how it's gonna go. People here worship law enforcement. When the time comes, I'm probably toast. What do you mean? In this chat? Yeah. Shirtless live stream? Probably when it gets hotter. When I'm like too fucking hot to wear a shirt. It's possible. Yeah, I know. It's bad. It's bad. Like, okay, so I actually am really hot. I'm gonna take off my sweater. I'm not gonna take off my shirt. Okay. All right. So the thing about red flag law, right? It's like they're going to keep on doing it and keep on pushing it until there's resistance. As soon as there's resistance, they're going to escalate into, like, it's going to give justification for combat, right? Like that's how you get opening of combat conditions from the state side, right? Like that's the way the way that it works, right? So like they want easily controlled opposition. Like they want to know who they want. All the people with guns gone, because those are the resistors. So it doesn't matter how it happens. If they make something organic that's weak enough to be like overcome, then that's a good thing, right? For them. If they can't get it, they just keep on pushing it forward, because you got to think, who's enforcing ERPO? Well, it's the people that have guns. You know what I mean? So it's like, do you get what I'm saying? Like the cops that are enforcing ERPO, if they went all the way to the end of how this thing is going to work out, like if you went all the way in and you went, like, you know, total socialization of people and, like, you know, fucking extrajudicial executions and stuff, which is where it's going to go. Like you will see that at some point. It's impossible to avoid. Like you'll have a period where it's like people are just going to be disappearing and shit. They can't do that right now, because if they did that, the guys who are enforcing ERPO would lose faith in what they're doing, and then they'd fucking join the other side. So they can't do it. So they have to do the ERPO thing, and then they have to get the state to, like, respond. You know. So if you respond, so if they're doing ERPO and shooting people in their sleep or whatever, or stealing their guns or whatever, and then it's like they have legal authority to do it by law, and then citizens start resisting. Well, as soon as the citizens start resisting, now it's like, okay, now we start getting 40 millimeter grenades, you know, like, and hand grenades. Now we start getting, like, you know, we're gonna get like gun trucks with fucking belt feds on and shit. Like, this is how it works. And then you move into fucking combat phase. That's what's gonna happen. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, you guys don't need to be black-pilled right now, because we're not even, like, nobody's even dying. I mean, other than this poor fellow that died in his sleep. But we're not, you know, like, nobody's getting, like, machine gunned down or anything, but it's going to come to that point. So, like, if you're feeling faint of heart right now, I don't know, you have to dig deep, because we're not even, like, into the shit yet by a damn sight. Yeah, so the way that it worked in the USSR is that they had to do, because the Tsar, you know, has been there for a long time. They had to coup the Tsar, you know, but it was all centralized. So they didn't have to do, like, here we have the constitutional government. So they had to subvert the constitutional government first. They've already done that. There's an entire parallel government that's operating over the top of the constitutional government, and then they're just, like, pulling funding from the constitutional government slowly. And so, like, the non-constitutional government, the parallel fake government, is more tied in directly with the Federal Reserve than the constitutional government. And then the through Congress, like, the Fed is seeding money to eliminate independence of all the remaining like sheriffs and shit like that. But it's not like they're not gonna eliminate the sheriffs. They're just gonna take over all their funding, and then they're going to cut off their, change their mandate from like being constitutional to just being like whatever the fuck the federal government says, because it's got to be top down, right? And so how this would have worked in Russia, they didn't have to do any of that shit. They just fucking wipe out the czar, and then they had a little civil war, because there were like a lot of factions competing to take over. So they had to fight a civil war, and then after they fight the civil war, then you get like the cream, rises to the top, and then you get like the Bolsheviks take over and fucking sabotage everything, like kill everybody, and then you start to get like the socialization, where you start to get extrajudicial executions, and that's what you're going to see. And it's going to be anybody right now, like anybody that's enforcing ERPO right now is going to be the people that are going to be like shooting people in the head out in ditches and shit. Because that's, you have to think it's like they already have, anybody that's serving in law enforcement right now has already sworn an oath to the Constitution, and they're violating it. So it's like they're not operating on any kind of moral principle. It's just like, well, this is like the money, so this is where, this is the energy that drives me. Well, the money is going to keep on moving with the ball forward until it gets to the point where it's like, okay, now we're like shooting people in the head, and they're just going to go right with it. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna rise to the occasion when people are, especially when it gets to the point where like they're witnessing people getting shot and like murdered, like under authorization of the state. Especially then, they're gonna be even more like going with it, because it's gonna be fucking scary as fuck. And they're not gonna like if you think if somebody doesn't have the balls that works at a department to like fucking shut the fucking shit down, like we're not doing fucking ERPO, and talk to their fellow employees, like if they're not able to do that now, they are not going to stand up against like people that are like, yeah, we're like fucking killing people and shit. Like they're not gonna fucking resist that. They're just gonna go along with it. I mean, this is how the shit works, man. Like that's the whole thing you guys gotta understand. Like the USSR and people that go under like socialist or communist systems, like in full retard, they never fucking have perspective to see what's going on. Like they don't know, like they don't know that it's like, we look at USSR and we're like, man, everything's all fucked up. Like how could you, like why would you even do that? They're people just like you, and they didn't fucking see it coming. You know what I mean? I mean, you can see it now because hindsight's 2020, but like when it's happening, like they can't recognize it, but it's because of the weakening of the the generations and the destabilization of social order. Yeah, you have to have, so Sam B says disarmament is key to subjugating a population. That's correct. That's totally correct. And everything that's already set up, right? Like everything that's already going is all fucking set up. Like you guys gotta understand, like since post 9/11, they fucking like Google Maps and shit and address signing and like street naming, like where I'm in like a rural area. So like all the streets out here got named post 9/11. Like they didn't have any fucking street names. Like if you went back to the 90s, these roads didn't have any names. Like people would just be like, yeah, you just fucking go over there. Like they didn't need a fucking name. You know what I mean? It's been like that since fucking 1800s, like when it was first settled and, taken from the Indians. But this is like, all this shit has come up since 9/11, and it's for no purpose other than this, like what's coming up. Like all of this shit, everything, the intelligence apparatus, the surveillance state, the fucking way that even the way that police are treated by the media, where it's like, when they need them, they're fucking cheerleaders, and then when they want to, it's not even like they did anything. It's not even, they're just doing exactly what they're told, and that's the problem. So like they're doing exactly what they're told, and so then it's like they get cheerleaded for by the media. And then once they're in the media's pocket, like once they're in the control paradigm pocket and they can't get out, now it's like the control paradigm can choose when to dump them, like when to dump on them, right? And once they start to dump them and destabilize them, it makes cops like cops right now feel like they're backed into a corner. Like they feel like they don't have partners that they can trust. They feel like the system they can't trust. They just feel like they're just like a bunch of individuals like stuck out there, you know, with no fucking ladder to get out. And that's like the whole process, because they're just going to keep on walking them isolated into, you know, like enforcing the fucking takeover, you know? And they're just going to have an American flag on it and say like, good to go. They're going to be like, this is the American way now, you know, like we're going to fucking execute fucking women and children and shit. Like that's what's going to fucking happen. Do we have a chance? Yeah, you always have a chance. But what you gotta understand. No, Drew says not on my watch. I know, but we can't fucking everybody. I mean, we made this for ourselves, so it's gonna fucking happen. You're not gonna, you know. I mean, imagine how we would get from where we are now to where people would be able to even identify and understand what's going on. Well, it's gonna require like some loss. You know what I mean? Like, there's no two ways about it. And that's just gonna happen. I mean, it shouldn't. It would be nice if it didn't. But like, you know, I'm out here making these videos. There's not that many people that at least have, you know. I mean, there's people that are like making videos. There's nobody that's like stopping their pursuit of wealth or pursuit of like, you know, some kind of vanity or fame or something to just like change gears and address what really matters. And that's, you know, I mean, that's, they're not going to, not until it's like beyond, like they're going to see it start and they're not going to change, and they're going to see it continue, they're not going to change. And it's not going to be until like they realize that they don't actually have anything, that then they're going to realize like, wait, the only thing that I have is like, I don't want to fucking, you know, support this, whatever this whole fucking thing is going on right now. I don't want to support that. And then they'll fucking figure it out. And by then it won't even matter. Yeah, I mean, there's a few, right? Like, there's a few, but there's, you know, like, imagine if, like, Chris Pratt just, like, started talking about this shit on Twitter. Like, you know how fucking disruptive that would be? Like, first of all, Chris Pratt is so fucking big that if he started writing about this kind of shit, they wouldn't, like, YouTube couldn't kick him off because it would be too conspicuous. So they have to figure out a way to handle and respond to like whatever he was saying. You know, it's kind of like Elon Musk, you know, but they're not doing it, you know, and it's because they don't understand the stakes and the certainty of what's coming. Yeah, of course he would be persona non grata, but they wouldn't be able to censor his tweets. I mean, as long as he wasn't violating their terms of service, they wouldn't be able to censor his tweets. I mean, they could change their terms of service so that it would like encompass everything, like anything, you know. But like, he's too big. He's too high profile. He could write something fucked up. I mean, he does write stuff that's fucked up sometimes, funny stuff. But the like people would get really suspicious if they fucking kicked him out. You know what I mean? If they kicked him off Twitter, all of his followers would be like, well, maybe I like want to think twice about this Twitter thing. You know, so they can't do it. It would be extremely disruptive. It's just an example. Pratt is just an example, right? Like, it doesn't have to be Pratt. I'm saying, what if there were 100 people that had as much clout on social media as Pratt, and then they started like, they wouldn't even have to put themselves out there to be vulnerable, to be like incorrect about some kind of historical information. What if they were just like, maybe we should all stop listening to these to whoever the fuck is running this country? You know, like maybe it's not us. Maybe the United States is not running the United States. And if they would just say something to that effect, it would fucking like it would fucking push this ball forward like years. Yeah, if they ban them, it would just push the ball forward too. Because then now everybody that wanted to follow him and is like upset, like, oh, I can't follow Chris Pratt, and then they have to figure out why. Yeah, exactly. They're not doing it because it's against their material interests. That's right. That's exactly right. And but here's the thing: it's like there is no material. Like none of the shit. Like the way that things are, like you don't even fucking own anything. You know what I mean? Like if they don't want to, I mean, they let you get away with it because it works for like the point for the purpose of what's at hand. But if they don't want to, like they'll just take it away. I've got a house, I pay property tax. I got a car, I pay fucking property tax. Like they could fucking flip the law so quick and just take everything you have. Like it's just not even, they're just not doing it because, they've got other shit to do and they don't want to do something conspicuous. But if they wanted to, they could, right? Like that's the way it is. There's no land, like you can't really own land. You can't really own anything that you can't defend. That's what it comes down to. And I am talking about, when I say they, I am talking about the like all the people that are involved in shaping the direction of the United States of where it's going and having the continuity between presidents and shit. I'm not talking about deep state or something like that. That's deep state is like a totally it's like a fucking misdirection. Yeah, so like the people that are there are people that are in the government that don't understand this, but will help out because they think it's the right thing, And but then there's people that know that like all this stuff going on is about destroying the United States. It's like it's to take the United States. So it's like the people that know that, those are the people that are running shit. Yeah, it is a red herring. I mean, it's just a misdirection to make you think that things are under control, to make you think that there's like, when like Trump uses the word deep state or the media uses the term deep state, it's like it sets the bar, right? Because they say like, okay, we know that there's some element in the government that isn't on board with our perfectly fucking utopia, cohesion that we would have otherwise, right? Like as if that's the fucking case. But because it's a little deep state that we can't fucking find, exactly. We're trying on it real hard, but they're hiding out with Osama bin Laden somewhere. Like we can't find them right now, And then it's like it puts it into the mental perspective of like, okay, somebody's got this. Like they know, like they got it. The reality is that it's like there is no deep state. Like you just don't have a fucking country. Like you just basically have your country taken over and they're just LARPing as the United States. That's what's going on. It's so far beyond what people think it is. Like it's so far beyond. If people understood how bad it was, they just go outside and start shooting people. I guarantee you. But that's not good. I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying that that's the way that we've been trained to think, because we've basically been shown, like, you have to look at the model of the state, right? Like the model of the current state says if something doesn't go your way, kill it. Like that's the model that they're showing to everybody. Like, and that goes for anything. That goes for like military, that goes for police, that goes for anything. It's like never back down. If they don't go with you, like you kill them, right? And so we all get that trained as a like reality in our head, and that's not really the reality. And so like it's a huge problem, because people will go to that when they think there's no hope. They'll just automatically go to that because that's the model that's been set up, and that's a weakness. You know, like that's not like a strength. That's a weakness. It's like a severe weakness because you can't do anything. You know, it's not a solution. The flashpoint, I mean, I think it's like the flashpoint for China is going to be like a conflict in the United States that gets out of control, where it's like organic, or resistance in the United States is organic that builds up against world government. Then China will kick off for sure, and then the other side of it would be like the synthetic shit that they're setting up, because they want China no matter what, right? Like China's going to happen no matter what. It doesn't matter what we do. Yeah, they want the Boog, but they want one that is totally pushover, like just pushover, which it would be. Like right now, if people aren't aware of the threat, of like the severity and depth of the threat, and then they miscalculate, you know, like they misjudge it, they misjudge the capability, then that's the Boog that they want. And that's the Boog that they would get if it happened right now. Like if it kicked off right now, that's going to be what you're going to get, because most people just view the world conventionally as it's shown, as they think about it in media, like in film and movies and stuff. That's how they think about it, and that's not the real world. Like nobody's even in control of the fucking government. It's like a fucking autopilot. Like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like people aren't, and because everybody's been turned on to money, and money has become the driving force of like morality. Like how you judge morality is money, like value, like worth, like monetary worth. It makes people like, they don't, what you have to understand is, to get to that point, they had to erode out morality. So like people underneath the money, as soon as the money goes away, there's no morality. You see what I'm saying? So like if you take away a person's, like in this society that we're in now, when shit starts getting bad, you just take away money, and then everybody's gonna go bonkers. And then you just give money to whoever you want to have strength, and don't give more money to whoever you want to continue to get weak and die. It's like evolution. It's analogous to evolution, like selection. Like the selection mechanic of evolution theory. Yeah. Yeah. Dan says they can't control food if you grow your own. That's absolutely correct. But what you should also consider is that like they've systematically turned everything in the United States into monocrop and for export. So it's like most of our food that we're bringing in is imported, which makes no sense at all. Like it's not even a logical. It's not even it's not efficient, right? Like it's not. That's what people don't understand. Like when they write articles about this shit, about like, you know, import and export and a consideration of that for the United States, they're writing it like they think that they're doing it because it's somehow in some way that's too smart for them to understand. It's more efficient. Like they're just really crunching the numbers, and it turns out this is better. That's not it. It's actually an investment, right? Like they're just dumping money without a return to pull the food source out of the United States so that it can be used as a weapon. It's just like a hostage situation. When you like, you know how like in the old movies in the 90s, like the hostages movies, like cop movies with hostages, it would be like they turn off the water and they turn off the power, and like they're applying pressure on the person inside that doesn't want to come out or whatever, or surrender. It's the same thing on a nation state level. They've maneuvered over since the 1950s to remove all of the fucking food, you know, and to not only remove the food, but once they remove it, all of that skill is lost. So like there's farmers here, but they're growing monocrops. Like they're losing the old trade, so it's harder to even start up again, you know, because the shit's fucking hard, especially feeding a country. And when the cities, like if the cities don't have any food, they're just going to turn towards the farmers or whoever's got food. You know what I mean? Raul Duke wants me to say talk about how Boog boys don't understand logistics and will starve and run out of bullets in a month. Sure, I will do that. Okay, we're going on to Boog survival here, I guess. So, because somebody else had a question about how does one survive the Boog. Okay, so you know, like people think about combat like an engagement. They think about combat, and the reason why is because everything that everybody knows about war and combat is from like movies and from like, you know, surveillance footage of engagements. It's like police, like the UPS truck, right? The UPS truck guy, like that's how people think about an engagement. So it's like this very short engagement where somebody dies and that's it, and it's like done, like you got it, you know, you're all good, right? Well, not only is that incorrect in terms of the like what's really going on or what goes on in an engagement, but it's also incorrect in terms of like everything around it. So like, for example, I'm going to use the UPS truck as an example because probably a lot of people have seen that video. So like what's happening there is that you have a target, right? Like a target that's going to get engaged, and they're moving, like it's moving around, it's mobile. And then you have a bunch of vehicles that coordinate to meet and engage it. Well, the way that they do that is because you have a highway system that's functioning. You have fucking radios that are functioning. It's on a route of someone's jurisdiction. So they drive on that road like a fucking 1,000 times in a month. You know what I mean? So they know it like the back of their hand. The fucking like all their guns are all like fucking clean and fucking lubed and shit. Like they've got like everything's pristine, everything's like ready to go. There's no, you know, when they're done, they call the coroner. The coroner comes and picks up the bodies. Like they get a wrecker out there, picks up the fucking car, the UPS truck that got fucking shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like all this shit is like all done and set up. War is like you don't have a highway, maybe. Like maybe you do, maybe you don't. You gotta fucking get there anyway, right? If that's what you're gonna do. And there's like you may or may not have the radio communication. You like your shit might be fucked up. You're gonna have to do like movement's a huge part of it, like just getting from one place to another place with all the shit that you gotta bring. Because like you're not, you know, especially in like an active war environment, like you can't just drive around, right? Like not only can you not just drive around because it's not safe and it's not a smart idea, it's not like it's not a tactically sound operating procedure, but because you might not even have a road. Like there might be holes in your fucking road. You know what I mean? Like you can't just like drive down the street and just like assume that the fucking street's gonna be there. You have to take like every fucking, you know, it's like a fucking tactical movement. So it's like you're not just like walking along like Mr. Magoo. You're fucking looking around at everything, and everything's slow as fuck. When you're like, if we just go light patrolling, right? Like in light patrolling at night with nods, with night vision, everybody with night vision and everybody competent. Like I'm talking like everybody's a ranger, you know, everybody's like at minimum an E4. So you've got like anybody that's there is gonna have like multiple years of experience of being in service with some gear, you know, which could be anywhere from 40 to 120 pounds, you know, including, you know, with their weapon and shit. They're moving like 1 kilometer an hour. That is a light patrolling pace. That is like a badass light patrolling pace for platoon size element. If you go into like SF units, light patrolling units, and like recon units and shit, they're gonna be moving a little faster because they're not gonna be carrying as much shit, and they're gonna be smaller, and they're gonna work together like all the time, regular biz, and then they're gonna have a lot better pace. But like a high speed conventional unit with normal gear and shit, like heavy gear, is gonna be moving 1 kilometer an hour at night. Okay, so the thing is like in light patrolling, for example, you constantly have to resupply. You know what I mean? Because your job, like when you're out there, your job is engagement, you know, or like you're doing ambushing or like trying to stop an ambush, pretty much is like what it all breaks down to. And so like that's your job. You don't have time to like go and fucking figure out. I mean, you can call up on a radio what you need, to get it out to you, but you're not gonna like, you can't spend all your time like fucking working at the factory and making the MREs that are coming out to you. Somebody else has to do that. So when you guys are in the boob, you gotta understand that like you gotta, I mean, you're not gonna be able to do anything. Not only are you not gonna be able to do anything because it might just be blown the fuck out and it just doesn't exist anymore, like your logistics chain. But here's the more important part. In the beginning, and this is we're talking about like a whole spectrum of like how demolished the United States is gonna be, because who the fuck knows. But if you still have a functioning model like of logistics and stuff, you're not gonna be able to fucking use it because anything that you do is tracked. So like, if you wanted to buy shit, every time that you buy something with like a credit card, you're gonna make a record, right? And like, if you go to a store, and it goes all the way down to like, it goes all the way down into like, let's say the internet's knocked out and there's no more internet or something. So like, people are going back to like 1980s method of technology and just getting by, and so it's like everything's slowed down a little bit, but like you still have electricity and shit like that. Well, okay, if you're like going to stores and stuff, buying fucking canned goods for combat food, like for a bunch of guys for like a 20-man element or something, like shit's gonna get noticed. Like the people in the store are gonna notice that you're like buying fucking pallets of food. So it's like, and then they may even agree with what you're doing. They may even be like, understand the situation. But if they're like starving and shit, and then somebody's offering resources to like turn to like, where are the gorillas? Then it's like they're gonna do it. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't. I mean, it's just gonna be fucking crazy, you guys. Like, I don't think people understand how bad it's gonna be. It's like where we're going, where this thing's going. There's never been anything like it before. Now that doesn't mean that you should not do what you think you need to do, but just understand, like, don't give yourself a false sense of. What I'm saying is that you need to you need to start preparing now, and start thinking about this shit, and like do the best that you can. Timetable, it's impossible to say. They were ready for it in 2017, for sure. Like they were economically ready for it in 2017. I think everything going on right now is like I think they're just pulling up the tail ends, right? Like they're just like checking all the algorithms, figuring out how they're going to track people, like getting all their plans in place, like their macro plans, like at the national level. Like I'm sure that they are, okay. I watched or I heard on the radio today from the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL. They said in the United States that they claim this. I mean, who knows if this is even true, but this is what they're putting out. They put out that there are more anti-Semitic attacks than the last 40 years combined. I believe that's what they said. I believe they said combined, like this year so far. So like, and the guy that was saying it on the radio, it was like from a hearing or something. I think he's getting like a Senate testimony. The dude from the ADL was talking like through his teeth, like grinding his, like he's fucking like the dude is not in control of his emotions when he's doing it. Like he's really letting his emotions spill out, and he's talking about like how the internet is being used for extremists and shit. So this is all part of the narrative for how they're going to turn the fucking government against the citizens, is by calling everybody fucking anti-Semitic. And okay, going along with that, I want my Jews to listen up. I know we got some fucking Jews in here. Listen up. Jews, you in here? We got any Jews? Did I scare them all off already? I'm for real. Okay. All right. Deacon's a Jew? Really? Irish Jew. Okay. You like an Ephraimite? Okay. All right. So if there's any Jews watching this, what I'm trying to tell you is that all of this is synthesized. So like there may be people in the United States like attacking Jews because that's how they're setting it up to like that is what it's like that's the point of all this, right? Because you guys are gonna get fucking kicked out of the United States. But it's not like it's not like that's their plan. It's not like you see what I'm saying? And they're saying they're doing shit like I mean they're doing shit that's like, you know, obviously gonna cause this. You know, like people are pissed off, but they're also doing shit like writing the anti the anti-Semitic laws for states where it's like you can't like it is literally prohibited like you can't say anything about world government. You can't say anything about you know like you can't like deny the Holocaust. You can't like all these things that are like violations of the First Amendment and shit, right? And like creating a really fucked up situation. And they're putting it into law, and then all the goy are like, yep, okay, check, and they check it like the politicians are talking, and they're not even thinking about it. They can't even tell. They're just all brainwashed. So like they're doing that. They're making those laws because it's fucking gonna piss everybody off, and it's going to blame all the shit on the Jews, and they're gonna fucking kick you out of the United States and send you to Israel. And they're gonna do it with like it's gonna be like militias and shit. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna be people here that are like booging that are gonna fucking wax you, bro. Belt and Road Initiative is mostly across like Eastern Europe. Belt and Road Initiative is like part of the way that they're gonna break over China through like with trade, with increased trade. But they gotta break over China with a war first. But they're getting it set up. Yeah, the Jews because there's the Jews think that they know what's going on, and I'm sure some of them do. I mean, they're smart motherfuckers, but like I don't, especially like the Jews, especially the Jews that are like the normal, like like they're just pretty much just like their bodily vessel is a Jew, or like their soul, and they're not really like in anything else. Like they're the ones that are really gonna get attacked. Like it's not gonna be a bunch of Orthodox Jews getting attacked. It's gonna be people that look like normal people that are Jews. They're gonna be the ones that are gonna get fucked with the hardest. I mean, this is all like this is you should recognize this from like Spanish Inquisitions and shit. Like this is the exact same fucking thing as Spanish Inquisitions. It's the exact same thing as Germany. It's the exact same thing as fucking Ireland and fucking like everywhere for like history. Yeah. So when I'm saying this shit, right? Like when we talk about the Jews, you gotta understand that like the entire world is fucking been organized to run around Jews. Like everything, like goy or Jew, it doesn't matter. It's all fucking set up like that, right? But it's not. It's like I can't really talk about it. It's the most powerful word that I could ever say, and it doesn't matter who the listener is. And you should like that should be significant. Like it should be significant to recognize that. You should recognize that it's not like anything else. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but like people really make the mistake, especially because Jews, because of the like post-Messianic era, and like because the end of Judaism is completely like if I said a map, if I was talking about world government, it was just a sterile map. And I like put it on a whiteboard, and I was like, okay, here's the things that world government does. You're gonna have one place with a top, and then underneath that you'll have like, a slight division, and then underneath that it keeps on expanding, and then now you got like all the nations are under it. That would be like the description of world government. Well, if you do end of Judaism, it's the same fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like it's all the same bullet points. And so because of that, and because Jews are involved in world government, it becomes impossible for like Jews can't think critically. Like they're unable to recognize reality and see like what's really going on, because it's like it looks like the way that a Jew feels is that they, like, if you were, I mean, it's impossible. I would have to assume the perspectives of like 10 different domains to cover all the Jews, because they all see different, you know, depending on their situation. But like an atheist Jew that's racially Jew is going to see it like they're going to be like, man, I think that's kind of fucked up, but like, you know, like I don't trust the people that aren't Jews. So it's like, if it comes down to it and I start getting like, people start getting attacked, I just got to go that way. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be the best situation for me, you know, to like side with the Jews and, you know, do whatever the Jews are doing. The Orthodox Jews are looking at it like, well, they're looking at some different ways. A lot of Orthodox Jews, when I talk to them, they're like, they don't even like, they're to the book, you know, which can be pretty brutal, but they're like really good at heart. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that like a comparison, like there's other ones that I talk to that aren't good at heart, but like the brutality is pretty, you know, let's not get into that. But anyway, they have no idea of like any of this nefarious shit. You know what I mean? And then you have some that are like, then you have some other Orthodox Jews that are like kind of a little bit more socialized, and they know the entire history of like communism and shit. Like they completely understand like the Jewish role of communism and shit. And they're like, and so like all these people are assuming that like all the Jews are together and shit. And then there's also the religious line, which is like the Messianic era and the redemption, you know what I mean? Which could look like any of the other linear models that would accomplish the same fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a fucking brain melt just to think about the whole thing. but what you should understand if you don't understand this, if you're a Jew that's watching this, is that like you're going to be driven out of the United States, and that's what all this is set up for. And like that's the ultimate conclusion. Like I'm not saying that this is going to happen tomorrow. I'm saying that like, you know, you could have a fucking Chinese war that goes to completion before this happens. I don't know. But you're going to be driven out of the United States. You should also be aware that there are, if you're like an atheist Jew, and you don't really, like, you're not reading Tanakh and shit, the fucking Tanakh has, like, Ezekiel has prophecies about this. So, like, if you get driven out of the United States, it's going to fulfill prophecy. I'm just letting you know, just so that you can like understand the situation. It's pretty complex. It's a pretty complex situation. And this is now Doug's opinion, right? I think that there is, like, I understand the Messianic era with you know, Ben Yosef and Ben David, right? Okay, I get all that. Like I got it. The like there's gonna be like, it looks like who is in charge in Israel is going to make a third Mashiach that isn't actually really Mashiach. Just keep that in mind. Like that could be a possibility, you know, and I mean that, I don't mean that like your Mashiach, I don't mean that like Mashiach's fake. I mean that like there could be a third one, and there could be like the real one, right? And then you get Mashiach ben David yet later, after, you know, all the changes. No. So Gerald Darden says, just to be clear, we're not advocating violence upon anyone. This is not like we're trying to, this is like people trying to, like, there's so many different groups of people because of the way things are, and we're all fucking stuck in here on this fucking ball, and we're in the middle of like a huge fucking psychological warfare campaign. It's just all disinformation and shit, and it's so difficult to figure out what's what. And it's especially difficult when you get into like socialization, because it controls language. So like people can't even get to the point where they can even like parse topics and like do analytical thinking, because they're not even allowed to say the word Jew. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like Like, but that's all the point, right? Like, that's the entire point. The entire point is just to, like, nobody makes any decisions or understands anything, and everybody just does what they're gonna do in reaction to whatever's made. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, so we're all in here, we're all in here doing, like, you know, bringing out the reality of this. And so it's not like, how do I even put it? Like, obviously, if you're a Jew and you know, like, you know, if you're like a religious Jew and you know the book, right? Then obviously there's a, you know, there's automatically a tension, a standoff, like an opposition between, like, you know, a lot of people in the United States and Jews. You know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm saying, right? I'm talking about aside from that. I'm not saying that, like, I'm not like trying to trick you and say, like, you know, forget about your book and, like, this is the way that it is. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, what am I saying? What am I saying? I don't know. Why don't you come on? I would love to talk to some Jews if you want to come on. I don't really like doing it. They get all freaked out because, you know, we should be scared of God because God is fucking terrifying. So we should all be really scared of God. But just because you're scared of God doesn't mean that you can't face truth. Like, I can promise you that God wants you to face truth as best you can. No, it's not a happy situation. Where are we at? What? Who's this loon? Who's the loon? Am I a loon? 420 Gaming says, what a loon. I'm dipping Grizzly on my way to the grave. Okay. Everybody's telling me not to pay attention to 420 Gaming. 420, if you want to say something, you can say something that makes sense, and I'll listen to you. What do I know about Kabbalah and Kabbalah? Well, Kabbalah with a C is different than Kabbalah with a K. What do you want me to talk about it? I don't know much. I mean, it's pretty esoteric, you know? Okay. Let me fucking... Okay, wait. We got two things that we need to address here. Okay, first of all, 420 Gaming. We have no idea if there's a God. To say like you know is ignorant. So I'm using the word God. I do not use the word God. Like, in my head, it doesn't even come here. I do not like it. I do not like to use the word. You people made the word. I didn't fucking make the word. Okay? I'm saying the word God because if I said as is and was and will be, then you would have no idea what the fuck I was talking about. Okay? So that's first of all, right? And I know that as is and was and will be does exist. Okay? So that's what I'm saying when I'm saying God. Number one. Kyle Ober says Kabbalah is ancient form of Satanism copied from pagan Satanism. Well, that's not really true because Kabbalah has, like, you know, it's actually like two trees that are connected in like its macro form, like in its organization, and the concept in like in Judaism, all things are under God, you know, which is where Kabbalah comes from. You know what I mean? Like it comes, it's a, and it's deducible. A lot of the stuff in Kabbalah is deducible into the Tanakh. You know what I mean? Like you can find it in the Tanakh. It's just they're not saying it in the same way. It's basically like an organizational chart of things that you can draw out of reading Torah. You know what I mean? So it can't be Satanism any more than it can be God. I don't know if that all makes sense, but that's like exactly what I'm saying. I have no religion. I don't believe in religion. Technically, neither do Jews. If that's kind of like a weird way to answer that, but I don't know what a perennialist is. Buddhism, I don't know much about. I know that. Now, I will say this. So, like, I know that. Oh, thanks for coming back in, Colin. Good to see you, buddy. The Buddhists, like, as far as like, you know, I believe that they do a lot of stuff with like meditation, and with you know, disconnecting the senses and stuff like that, and like all that stuff is in Judaism too. I have not heard of identity Christianity. Zoroastrianism. I haven't heard about it. I've mostly anything that I've studied is related to Abrahamic religions simply because they're the center of geopolitics. Oh yeah, Abdullah, talking about the 2.3 trill. Hey, did they ever find that 2.3 trill that Rumsfeld was looking for? Was that like ever located at all? Does anybody know? Like since 9/11? I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, we're at 20 trillion in debt. We're over 20 trillion. No, yeah. Yeah, lost on September 10th, the same day that Masood got assassinated. Whoa. We just had a flood. Masonism is based on a Kabbalah, I'm sure. So, okay, it looks like we got a lot of questions about. Yeah, I believe you. 30 trill, I believe you. I mean, when we're talking about numbers, especially when you start getting into trillions, it's like it almost starts to make you realize, like, it's almost easier when you start to considering stuff like that you realize that like money isn't even real. Like, it's just, I mean, it's real in terms of like how it's going to negatively affect us, but like in terms of like the positive value, like there is no positive value. It's just fucking vapor. You know what I mean? Like $2.3 trillion missing is just fucking vapor. Like, you're gonna pay for it. They're creating money out of nowhere that wasn't worth anything, and then you're saying like, okay, I'll pay for that. Like, I'll give you that much. Like, whatever I decide to fucking give you for that 2.3 trillion that you lost, I'll just like figure it out somehow. Like, I'll, you know, have my next generations work for it. Yeah, I agree. Well, I think that masonry is like, now I'm not a mason, and I only really know like one mason maybe, and like I'm really critical of it when I speak to him. But it is, so masonry has like, you know, they have like their own idea internally of what it is, and they don't view it as like, they view it as spiritual. But you got to understand that like a lot of the Mason temples have like about King Solomon and shit like that, you know, which is that's the first temple. That's the first Jewish temple. So this is my if you want to know my gut feeling, this is gonna be, I got to give a word of caution on this, that this could not be accurate. And I'm gonna have to get a charger if we're gonna keep on talking. Yeah, I'm about out of battery. And I don't think I have a charger in here, do I? Nope. Okay, so what do you guys want to do? You want to start a new stream? You want to keep going or what? All right, we got a lot of fucking questions. Okay. Intermission. Yeah, we're gonna do an intermission. We're gonna kill this stream, and I'm gonna start a new one. I'm gonna go get a charger. We gotta kill it so that we're at like 2 hours on this one. So we'll kill this one. We're gonna do one more. It's not gonna be as long. I'm not gonna go another 2 hours. Okay. But we'll have we'll get a little shebang bang in here. All right. See you guys in a bit. Have fun.